If you follow badminton closely, you may have heard of Raymond Webster. Many badminton players compete on the World Tour each year, but what sets Raymond apart is his age. He will be 72 next April. Since his first international tournament almost 10 years ago, he hasn't won a single match and often scores only a few points. You may be wondering, why does he do it? Does he enjoy losing by such margins? How does he travel all around the world? Is he rich? When will he stop playing? We've asked ourselves the same questions for years and we finally decided to ask the man himself. What you are about to see is a short documentary on Raymond Webster's life, narrated by Ray himself.
Raymond Webster was born on April 13, 1954 in England. Early on, sport became his playground. He tried everything that came on his way, cycling, exploring new disciplines, always on the move.
I started off as a rock climber. I did road racing bicycle. Actually, I cycled from England to Switzerland across France at 750 kilometers in 4 days with one of my friends.
Oh.
Yeah, that was tough, but we were tough.
Then, at 19, he discovered badminton, one for Australia, one for shuttlecock. This sport quickly found a special place in his life.
That was in 1973. We had a new sports centre built, and I did a little bit of club games, and then I saw there were some top players there, and I learned that our England number 1 and 2 were there, and some other high-ranked players, and that was Ray Stevens, who was England number 1, and the other guy number 2 was Kevin Jolly, and it was just like awesome. It was like watching colour TV when we only had black and white TV, and it was very inspiring. So I actually hadn't met Ray personally. I saw him playing, and I called him. He used to work for a racket company, and I said, could he get me some rackets? And yeah, he turned up with rackets, and I met Ray Stevens, England number 1. Quite an experience, actually. If I don't want to talk too much, but this was the first time that I experienced chi energy. So Ray brought these rackets in, and I didn't see him coming. I was at the net with my gear, and I felt a tsunami walk up behind me, and it nearly blew me down. It was unbelievable. And that guy had this incredible fighting spirit, and it was just his energy. I mean, I never met anybody that had that amount of sort of power. It was actually like I was pushed by a wave, you know, when you're in the oceans. Yeah, really, really, really incredible. Yeah. He got me onto his junior training squad, but I was past junior then. I was age 19. So we did the junior session, and I gradually got my game up. And then I did a 1-hour session with Ray every week. And he really drilled the essentials into me. You know, I lacked a lot in some areas, of course, because I'd never came up through the ranks of a junior. So I came straight into senior level, and everything was tough, you know. So that's how I got started. When I played Ray Stevens in the training session, we would have a match after our training sessions, and he would like bash the hell out of me. And I would get, like, in the old scoring system, 15 points. The most I could get off Ray was 3 points. So I played him this one time, and he had a tournament coming up. He just played so hard, and it was like I was in a war. And bang, the lights came on in my head, and I totally went into this time dilation zone where I went on autopilot, and I saw everything in slow motion. It was just awesome. It was like I was watching action replay. And I could actually work out in the rally what to do. And the rallies got longer and longer. And I started scoring points. And kind of 7-11 maybe, Ray's thinking, why is Ray playing well? And so he put more pressure on me. But I came out with a score of 11-15. And that was like, I never performed with so much mental awareness as I did then. And he asked me, he said, well, how do you play like that? You never get more than 3 off me. I said, I don't know. So I entered UK tournaments, but it was tough. I struggled in those. So I thought, right, I'll go tour around. And I played a couple in Europe. And then I just really wanted to go to the USA. And so there was no internet then, right? So I actually found out where the clubs were in America by buying Badminton USA magazine. And I wrote away to clubs and a couple of phone calls. And I organised this big tour for 5 weeks, the first one. I travelled east, west, south, north, all over the USA. Played all these tournaments in 5 weeks. I got one singles title. It wasn't like a big title. It was a regional title. I won a consolation mixed. I think I won another consolation in the Western States Open in the USA. Then that was the first time I went to Canada. And I went with the American guys down and played the Mexican Open. That was a great trip. Love that.
Everything was going great for Ray, but a few years later, a stomach injury brought his badminton career to a brutal halt.
I did something really tough one time, and then I thought, felt something there. And what had happened was I set up perforation in this what they call muscle fascia. It was too painful to actually do anything. I had to stop all sport and everything, running, cycling, couldn't do things. So I lost quite a lot of years of activity there.
Ray had to stop playing badminton for several years, but he never lost his love for the sport. Nearly 40 years later, he was finally injury-free and decided to pick up a racket again.
2016, when I was age 62, when I started playing again. I did actually play, UK regional tournaments. And then I realised there was a senior circuit. So I played open level, and then I played seniors, or masters they call it, in my age group. I think I played in 60s group then. I moved up to 65. The gods of badminton came along, and at the right time, while my body's still strong. I actually won a racket in a competition, and I went to train with it, and I swung the racket and missed the shuttle. It moved before the shuttle came down, and it took me a couple of sessions to get the timing. But now I can't go back to the older rackets. It feels like I'm playing with squash rackets, so heavy.
But Raymond is not one to set limits on his ambitions. One day he simply wonders, why not go further? Why not try competing even in professional tournaments?
I just saw some on YouTube, and I realized, wow, look at that arena. No way, look at it. It's beautiful. So I got to do that. I got to do that. I'd missed so many years. I was hungry. I still had the hunger. And I entered Spanish International. I was really fit. But when I went on and played, I was out of breath, which really surprised me. So I didn't quite understand. And the thing was, all my activities had been kind of cardio and leg work, but nothing overhead, no throwing activity, right? When I went into the first world tour, where they make a real show with lights, I thought, I am addicted.
Today Raymond is 72. Winning is no longer the main goal, yet he never misses a chance to step onto the court. He is there for the joy, for the thrill.
Whatever the score, I mean, it's not like I'm going to say, I don't care. I have to accept if I get a low score. But the times that I play well and rally well, and I get 30-shot rallies, 28, 27s, 20 shots, that makes it all worth it, because I'm in the match. It's just like a buzz for me, and I enjoy the actual kind of feeling that my body can work without any problems. And I've never had a badminton injury, and I'm pretty mobile, I'm pretty fast. And it's just like, well, I can rally and I can get winners. And it's just like thrilling, really. I just enjoy to play. The movement on the court and the whole show, it's just tremendous. I just love it when I'm moving well on the court. Often I'm moving pretty good. It's not good when I'm not moving well, or haven't been well a couple of times. to make excuses for bad score. Yeah, generally not big well, like a flu or migraine or something. One time I played one of the French events, got slaughtered, but I was seeing 2 shuttles sometimes. It doesn't help, does it?
Despite these setbacks, Ray never gave up and finally won his first set in 2022. A few minutes later, he came very close to winning his second set ever, which would have been his first international victory.
I don't know. I just played pretty well. He wasn't the strongest player that I played. I won the first set 23-21. And in the second set, I had a point coming for match point. And the shuttle broke after he hit it, and it came down like a helicopter and dropped, and I couldn't kill it. So I would have had the first match point. Maybe I would have won it then. But it just didn't work out. Sometimes, it happens. So, but my plan was I was going to run completely around the arena and get rebuked by the umpire. So you go off court. So I think he would have forgiven me. People enjoyed that. I got, some of the England guys even were saying, come on, Ray, and I appreciate they did that. But now I know that I can win. I did know that I can win games, but it showed that I can win games.
Raymond usually played only in the qualification rounds of World Tour tournaments, but in 2023 he broke that barrier by entering the main draw of a Super 300 event in Germany.
I played high-low, and I played with a younger guy, I think he's age 22 or 24 from the UK. He said, Ray, I want to go and play a BWF. How can I do it? He said, because I don't have any ranking points. I said, well, look, just come play one with me. Then you'll get a ranking point. Doesn't matter if we don't get a great score, win or lose. And I said, then after that, you've got points for your own use. You can go and play with anyone you choose. They said, yeah, great, we'll do that. So we went to the team managers meeting the evening before, and we were in the qualifying round. There were 8 pairs. So when we got in, sorry guys, we can't run the qualifying round. They're like, who? Just come to Germany. But don't worry, he said, you're all promoted to main draw. What happened was 5 of the 8 pairs withdrew late. They didn't make it. So they had slots to promote all of us into main draw. So I played main draw it was a 2 of 500 main draw. Yeah. So my guy says, oh, Ray, we're going to get killed. He said, do you see who we're playing? I said, oh, I don't know. We're playing World 30. Oh, I said, great. He said, what do you mean great? I said, we've got nothing to lose, right? So he said, oh, I don't understand that. I said, look, just go on and enjoy it. I have never been so relaxed because nobody expected us to do anything, Yeah, the thing was, he was a good smasher, and he only got 1 smash through those guys. Everything came back. And he also hit long a bit. But the thing was, we paired really well. I felt super relaxed, super loose. We worked some good rallies, and we had a 29-shot rally, and I clipped it into a completely empty space, and they stood there like, who? Like, we got a good cheer for that. It wasn't anywhere near a big score, but I never enjoyed something so much. No, I played in 70s group first time last year, but last year was my most successful. My oldest in seniors. I became English silver medalist in English nationals in 70s group.
Ray is finally living his dream, but there is a high price to pay.
So I've actually cut down on the number of tournaments in this last 2 years. But some financial, but also it's actually very, very tiring to organise. 10 BWF, 12 BWF a year for 4 or 5 years, plus the English tournaments, plus I play seniors. So I was playing 20 a year. It's a total occupation. You don't get anything else done in life, It's disappointing when in a previous tournament and you've got the same amount of ranking points, then you see suddenly there's another 20 guys jumped in on the tournament and you get pushed down to reserve 53.
Fighting tournaments is not easy. The list keeps shrinking, and most often it can only enter if someone drops out, sometimes at the last minute, but whenever it can, He answers the call.
This happened with the US Open. We entered with Benedict, and I thought, well, yeah, you know, we moved up to reserve 4 the night before the deadline. I thought, well, you know, so I looked at midnight. No, we aren't going to make it. We were still at reserve 4. Next thing, I look next day. Who? I'm in the draw. What? Can't be, because they didn't notify me. I had time to travel, but the trouble is I didn't expect to travel, and by the time that late information came, airfares were like another $300-400, and I thought, well, you know, I'm not going to go anyway. And it happened to quite a few guys as well in the same situation. Sometimes I actually never could get, I couldn't get you know, and got a late call. I couldn't get a hotel room, and just like had to ask around, and you know, some players helped sometimes, or if I drove in a rental car twice, I slept in the rental car, which is pretty bad. When I was playing 10 and 12 a year, it drained the finances.
It's not always easy for Ray, but he can count on the support of his fellow players. For example, they sometimes allow him to train with them before match days.
Played with most of them. I played with Chinese Taipei, Indonesia, India. Yeah, one time I was so privileged. So I'm on the court practicing the night before, and no one else from England that was there at the time. So I start hitting shuttles by myself, and the Chinese, I don't know, B team or something was on the next court, and they were playing 3v1. So I put my hand up to the coach, and I held up 4-1. Give me 4v1. And he laughed. He said, you play, I'll send you someone. So he sent one of the Chinese girls over. How could I do that, you know? And we actually had a great time, you know, and she enjoyed it and I enjoyed it, and I practiced well. So that was totally a big privilege to play, you know, someone very decent from China. And the coach was really great. Yeah, really, really friendly. Because some people know that I play, and I'm the oldest one out there currently, and they may be quite interested to say, oh, that's the guy that plays. Privilege is more mine, because, you know, to actually get someone to come over from Chinese team and practice is just awesome. I've met Nancy Young as well, and that was different. I met her on a coach in one of the tournaments, and I can't think her name. And I said, you're famous, aren't you? So she said, no, I'm not so good. I said, one day you're going to win the All England. She said, no. So and then that year she won it. Then I met Wei Yazin 3 times at one of the events. Because she's playing mixed. And I said, could I have a selfie with you? She said, yes, come.
At 72, Raymond Webster keeps that same energy. He keeps moving forward, keeps improving, and wants to keep playing.
I love being on a court, and I see the court as a period for a short time where I sort of, I can't say own it. It's like, it's a boundary that I have to perform in and try and bring out all that I've learned. And it's kind of like putting yourself inside a television, really. And it's such a nice experience. So my plan is I'm going to do an altitude trip, and then I will have better consistency and better breath, because with better breath, you're not struggling. So I'll be more consistent. I'll be able to maintain longer rallies. That's my hope. It would be kind of nice if I get one of these younger guys a little bit breathless, wouldn't it? I look forward to that. Usually it's the other way around.
Since the recording of this interview, Ray has played in many tournaments and will continue to do so. Please cheer for him if you see him play. If you want to learn more about him, the link to his YouTube channel is in the description. A huge thank you to Ray for taking the time to answer our many questions and for the personal videos and photos he sent us. We would also like to thank Violette for the beautiful animation sequences you saw. Her Instagram page is also linked in the description if you'd like to see more of her work. We usually make podcasts in French about the world tour, but let us know in the comments if you'd like more content like this. And don't forget to subscribe. See you next time!